Okay. So you've shared these excerpts about the Inquisition, and well, today it seems like we're about ready to delve into some dark corners of the Imperium, so to speak,
Mm.
and really uncover some of the secrets of this enigmatic organization.
Yeah.
I bet I bet you think you have a good grasp on who they are, right?
Mm.
Powerful, secretive, mysterious.
Right.
But are you prepared to uncover the surprising origins
Hmm.
and really the complex motivations that drive them?
I think so, yeah. I think you'll be fascinated by what we uncover. The Inquisition is far more intricate and nuanced than I think a lot of people realize. It's not just a monolithic force for good. We'll uncover internal conflicts, shifting loyalties, and even, let's just say, some inquisitors have some very unorthodox beliefs.
Okay. Color me intrigued. So to really get this, deep dive rolling, let's start with a basic understanding. What exactly is the Inquisition, and why should we care about understanding them?
Um, the Inquisition, they really serve as the Imperium's watchdog. They're a vigilant shield against the countless threats that could shatter humanity's, precarious existence in the 41st millennium.
Right.
What makes them particularly intriguing is their position outside the typical laws and hierarchies of the Imperium. They answer only to the highest authorities. Imagine the authority to requisition resources from a planetary governor or even a space marine chapter master. That's the level of power we're talking about.
Wow.
Yeah.
That puts things into perspective. Okay, so we know they're powerful and operate outside the usual rules.
Yeah.
But the Inquisition isn't just one giant entity, is it? It's divided into different branches, each with its own area of expertise. Can you shed some light on that structure?
Yeah, you're right. The Inquisition is not a monolithic entity. Instead, it's organized into specialized branches called ordos, each dedicated to combating a specific type of threat. So, for instance, we have the Ordo Xenos. Their sole focus is on alien threats. To understand their work, imagine the intricate web of intrigue they must unravel to expose a hidden gene stealer cult
Right.
infiltrating an imperial world. The stakes are incredibly high because the survival of entire planets often hinges on their success.
The gene stealer cults are truly terrifying. It's like a horror movie playing out on a planetary scale.
Yeah, right.
Now, what about the threats from within? I remember reading something about an ordo that deals with heresy and those who stray from the imperial creed.
Ah, yes, you're thinking of the Ordo Hereticus. They are the ones who root out heresy and mutation within the Imperium, often facing incredibly dangerous and fanatical enemies. Their investigations might involve, say, infiltrating a chaos cult that's practicing forbidden rituals or hunting down a rogue psyker who's tapping into the warp's dangerous powers. The challenges they face are immense because the lines between faith and fanaticism can be, very blurred,
Right.
particularly in the Imperium's often oppressive environment.
It makes you wonder, how they determine what constitutes true heresy versus, say, someone, questioning the efficiency of imperial bureaucracy.
Right.
The Imperium, after all, isn't exactly known for its flexibility.
That's a valid point. And it highlights the moral ambiguities surrounding the Inquisition's actions. They wield immense power and make life or death judgments, which naturally raises questions about their methods and the potential for overreach. But let's not forget the third major ordo, Ordo Melius.
Right.
Their focus is on the most insidious threat to the Imperium, the forces of chaos.
The Ordo Malleus, the demon hunters.
Yeah.
That's got to be one of the toughest jobs in the entire Imperium.
Yeah, it is.
Facing down, demons and the corrupting influence of chaos. It sounds absolutely terrifying. What kind of investigations do they undertake?
Think of the Ordo Malleus as the front line in a never-ending war against the Immaterium. Their investigations might involve hunting down a demonic artifact that's corrupting a whole sector of space, or tracking a chaos warband that's preparing to launch a devastating invasion. Their work is often shrouded in secrecy and fraught with peril, as they constantly risk succumbing to the very forces they seek to destroy.
So we have these three primary ordos, each dedicated to combating a specific threat, and each operating with a level of autonomy and authority that's almost unimaginable. It makes you wonder how this incredibly powerful and secretive organization came into existence in the first place.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about the origins of the Inquisition?
The origins of the Inquisition are, as you might expect, shrouded in mystery and whispered legends. But most scholars agree that its genesis can be traced back to a pivotal figure in imperial history, Malcador the Sigillite, the emperor's right hand, and a master of intrigue and strategy.
Malcador the Sigillite, a name that echoes throughout the lore of Warhammer 40k.
Right.
What role did he play in the formation of the Inquisition?
Imagine the early days of the Horus Heresy, a time when the Imperium was teetering on the brink of collapse, brother fighting brother in a galaxy-wide civil war. It was during this tumultuous period that the Emperor tasked Malcador with establishing a force that could safeguard the Imperium from enemies both within and without.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in essence, Malcador was entrusted with creating a force that could operate beyond the limitations of traditional imperial structures.
Right.
A force that could act decisively and ruthlessly to preserve the emperor's vision.
Precisely. It was a time when the Emperor was focused on the grand strategic picture.
Right.
On confronting Horus and his traitor legions. He needed a trusted agent to handle the more clandestine aspects of the war, to root out treachery and heresy before it could spread.
And Malcador, with his keen intellect and unwavering loyalty to the emperor, was the perfect choice for such a task.
Absolutely. He understood the Emperor's vision, the dangers that threatened it, and the need for an organization that could operate with absolute discretion and unquestioned authority.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
To think that the seeds of the Inquisition were sown in the fires of the Horus Heresy, one of the most defining moments in imperial history. And to think that this organization, born out of such a cataclysmic conflict, would go on to shape the fate of the Imperium for millennia to come.
The echoes of the Horus Heresy still resonate throughout the Inquisition today. It's a constant reminder of the fragility of the Imperium, the ever-present threat of chaos, and the need for constant vigilance.
And it's a reminder that even in the grimdark future of the 41st millennium, the past casts a long shadow.
Yeah.
But there's another intriguing aspect of the Inquisition's history that I'd like to explore, a period known as the First Hour. What exactly happened during this crucial period, and how did it influence the evolution of the Inquisition?
The First Hour refers to the immediate aftermath of the Horus Heresy, when the Emperor was interred on the Golden Throne.
Okay.
Mortally wounded, but psychically linked to the Astronomicon guiding humanity through the warp. It was a period of immense uncertainty, with the Imperium reeling from the devastation of the Civil War and facing an uncertain future.
It must have been a time of unimaginable grief and confusion and fear.
Yeah.
The emperor, the godlike figure who had guided humanity for millennia, was now a silent presence on a life support machine.
Yeah, you can imagine the debates that raged among the emperor's closest advisors during this time. What would become of the Imperium without his direct guidance? What was his true will? And perhaps most crucially, should they strive to bring him back to life?
These are questions that would have profound implications for the future of the Imperium, and it seems that there was no easy consensus.
Right, you're absolutely right. In fact, during this First Hour, four key individuals, trusted servants of the Emperor, came together to discuss the fate of the Imperium.
Yeah.
And it's their clashing viewpoints that would ultimately lead to the formation of the Inquisition as we know it today.
This sounds like a turning point in the Inquisition's history.
Yeah.
Tell me more about these four individuals and the conflicting ideologies they represented.
Two of these individuals, known as Promius and Moriana, believed that the Imperium's survival depended on the Emperor's return in his mortal form. They were determined to find a way to resurrect him, even if it meant exploring forbidden knowledge and venturing into dangerous territories.
So they were the first of what the source material calls resurrectionists.
Yeah.
Fascinating. But what about the other two? What were their views on the Emperor's fate and the future of the Imperium?
The other two individuals held a starkly different view. They believed that the Emperor's ascension to the Golden Throne marked a new era for humanity. Yeah. They argued that his sacrifice, his perpetual vigil guiding the Astronomicon, was the ultimate expression of his love for mankind.
Okay.
They believed that any attempt to resurrect him would be a violation of his will, potentially even a catastrophic mistake that could unleash unforeseen horrors.
So you have this fundamental conflict at the heart of the Imperium's leadership. A clash between those who cling to hope of the Emperor's return and those who accept the new reality of his absence. It sounds like a recipe for division and a potentially even open conflict.
It was a division that would have profound consequences, shaping the very structure and purpose of the Inquisition.
Okay.
Promius and Moriana, driven by their belief in the Emperor's eventual return, left Terra to pursue their own paths,
Right.
gathering followers and exploring forbidden technologies.
While the other two individuals remained on Terra, laying the groundwork for an organization that would combat such effort,
Right.
an organization that would become the Inquisition.
Precisely. From its very inception, the Inquisition was marked by this fundamental conflict, a conflict that would continue to echo throughout its history, shaping its internal dynamics and the complex motivations of its members.
Okay.
But what makes this story even more intriguing is that those who followed Promius, known as the Promians,
Right.
eventually became part of the Inquisition.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
That's incredible. The very people the Inquisition was, at least in part, created to oppose those who sought to resurrect the Emperor,
Right.
ended up joining its ranks. How did that happen?
It's a twist worthy of the most captivating Warhammer 40k novel. And it's a testament to the complex and often contradictory nature of the Inquisition. To understand how this seemingly impossible union occurred, we need to delve into the shadowy history of the Promians and their encounters with the evolving structure of the Inquisition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's do that then. Let's delve into that.
Sure. The integration of the Promians into the Inquisition is a fascinating study in pragmatism and the ever shifting sands of power. Remember, centuries had passed since that tumultuous first hour,
Right.
and the Inquisition, in its relentless expansion across the vast Imperium,
Right.
had encountered countless threats and variations of belief.
It makes sense that the original mandate focused on preventing the Emperor's resurrection. Might it become a bit muddled over time, especially given the sheer scale and complexity of the Imperium?
That's exactly what seems to have happened. And the Promians, despite their unorthodox beliefs,
Right.
were still demonstrably dedicated to safeguarding the Imperium. Picture this. An inquisitor leading a force against a chaos incursion,
Okay.
stumbles upon a group of warriors battling with incredible ferocity and unwavering conviction. These warriors turn out to be Promians, followers of the resurrectionist ideology, but their effectiveness in combating the forces of chaos cannot be denied.
I could see the dilemma facing that inquisitor.
Right.
On one hand, these Promians hold beliefs that run counter to the Inquisition's original mandate. On the other hand, they're clearly committed to fighting for the Imperium's survival.
Yeah.
It's a classic case of pragmatism winning out over dogma, wouldn't you say?
Precisely. The Inquisition at its core is about results. If a group proves its worth in defending the Imperium,
Right.
even if their beliefs are somewhat unconventional, they might be deemed a valuable asset. It's likely that the Promians' combat prowess and dedication to fighting chaos impressed the Inquisitors who encountered them, leading to their eventual integration.
It's a testament to the adaptability and practicality of the Inquisition. They're not bound by rigid ideology.
Right.
Their focus is on achieving their objectives, even if it means incorporating those who hold differing beliefs. It makes you wonder, if this integration led to any internal conflicts or power struggles within the Inquisition.
The integration of the Promians undoubtedly added another layer of complexity to the already intricate web of inquisitorial politics. Imagine factions forming within the ordos, some adhering to the original mandate of opposing resurrectionist beliefs, while others embracing the Promians as valuable allies in the fight against chaos and other threats.
It's like a game of shadows within shadows, with inquisitors vying for influence, resources, and the interpretation of the Emperor's will. The potential for intrigue and backstabbing must be immense.
Indeed. And the presence of the Promians within the Inquisition adds another dimension to this intricate game.
Right.
Did they truly abandon their goal of resurrecting the Emperor, or did they find ways to operate within the Inquisition while secretly pursuing their original objective? It's a question that's likely debated in hushed tones within the Inquisitorial chambers.
It's fascinating to consider the motivations and long-term goals of these Promian inquisitors.
Right.
Are they playing the long game, infiltrating the Inquisition to gain access to resources and knowledge that could eventually aid their resurrectionist ambitions, or have they truly reconciled their beliefs with the realities of the Imperium and the 41st millennium, accepting the Emperor's sacrifice and focusing on the immediate threats to humanity's survival?
Those are questions that even the most seasoned inquisitor would struggle to answer definitively.
Right.
But this ambiguity, its interplay of conflicting ideologies and hidden agendas is what makes the Inquisition such a captivating subject of study. It's a microcosm of the Imperium itself.
Right.
A vast, sprawling entity rife with internal contradictions, competing factions, and a constant struggle for survival against unimaginable odds.
And it's a reminder that even the most seemingly righteous organizations can be corrupted by power, ambition, and the weight of their own history. We've explored the origins of the Inquisition, their structure, and the clashing ideologies that shape their actions. But there's another aspect that I find particularly intriguing: the methods they employ in their investigations. What can you tell us about the tools, strategies, and dare I say, tactics that inquisitors use to achieve their objectives?
The methods of the Inquisition are as varied and diverse as the threats they face. Imagine a spectrum of approaches ranging from subtle infiltration and manipulation to overt displays of force and the deployment of powerful weaponry.
Right.
An inquisitor investigating, say, a suspected chaos cult might employ psychic interrogation techniques to extract information from captured cultists, while another tracking a rogue traitor suspected of dealing with Xenos technology might utilize a network of spies and informants to gather evidence.
I can picture an inquisitor leading a squad of stormtroopers bursting into a heretical gathering, weapons blazing, or employing a more subtle approach, disguising themselves as a pilgrim to infiltrate a chaos-tainted shrine and uncover its secrets.
The effectiveness of an inquisitor often depends on their ability to adapt to the specific challenges of their investigation. They are, in essence, problem solvers of the highest order, wielding the authority of the Imperium to root out threats that others might not even be aware of.
And this power, this freedom to operate outside the constraints of normal imperial law must be incredibly tempting. It makes you wonder, how inquisitors resist the lure of corruption, the potential to abuse their authority for personal gain or to advance their own agendas.
So the potential for corruption is a constant shadow that hangs over the Inquisition. After all, they are individuals subject to the same temptations and feelings as any other human being. But there are mechanisms in place to mitigate this risk, albeit imperfect ones. Inquisitors are often bound by oaths of loyalty to the emperor and the Imperium. And they are subject to scrutiny, albeit often from afar, by their peers and superiors within the Inquisitorial hierarchy.
It's a system that relies heavily on trust and self-regulation. But when you have individuals wielding such immense power, operating in the shadows and facing unimaginable threats, it's hard not to imagine that some might succumb to the darker impulses that lurk within the human heart.
The annals of inquisitorial history are undoubtedly filled with tales of heroism, self-sacrifice, and unwavering dedication to the emperor's cause. But they're also likely stained with darker stories of ambition, betrayal, and the abuse of power. It's this inherent duality, this capacity for both great good and terrible evil that makes the Inquisition such a compelling and enduring aspect of the Warhammer 40k universe.
It reminds us that even in the grimdark future of the 41st millennium, the battle between light and darkness is waged not only on distant battlefields, but also within the hearts of individuals, even those who profess to be the emperor's most devoted servants. We've delved into the origin, structure, and methods of the Inquisition, uncovering a complex and often contradictory organization. But there's one final question that I think is crucial to understanding the role of the Inquisition in the grand scheme of the Imperium. If the emperor were to somehow return to step down and reclaim his rightful place as ruler of humanity, how would the Inquisition react?
That's a question that strikes at the heart of the Inquisition's existence, a question that has likely been debated in hushed tones within the Inquisitorial chambers for millennia. To truly grasp the potential impact of the emperor's return, we need to consider the profound implications it would have not only for the Inquisition but for the entire Imperium.
The potential return of the emperor, it's a mind-boggling scenario, isn't it? To think that the figure who has been a silent, almost mythical presence for 10,000 years could suddenly, step back into the galaxy, reshaping the very fabric of the Imperium. I can't even begin to imagine how the Inquisition would react to such an event.
It would be nothing short of a seismic event. A shockwave that would reverberate through the Imperium, challenging long-held beliefs, established power structures, and the very foundation upon which the Inquisition was built. Imagine for a moment the reactions within the Inquisitorial chambers.
I'm picturing a mix of shock, disbelief, and maybe even a healthy dose of fear. After all, the Inquisition has operated for millennia with the emperor as a distant, almost divine figure. To suddenly have him, back in the picture, a living, breathing being with his own will and agenda, it would throw their entire world into disarray.
Some inquisitors might see the emperor's return as a validation of their efforts, a sign that their unwavering dedication to his cause has been rewarded. They might welcome him with open arms, ready to serve him directly as they did in the Imperium's earliest days.
But I can also envision those who would view his return with suspicion, perhaps even outright hostility. Remember, the Inquisition has grown accustomed to operating with a degree of autonomy, interpreting the emperor's will as they see fit, and acting as the ultimate arbiters of his vision, to suddenly have the emperor back, issuing his own commands and potentially challenging their interpretations. That could create significant friction.
Imagine the power struggles that might erupt as different factions within the Inquisition jockey for seeking to align themselves with the returned emperor, or to maintain their existing authority. The potential for division and conflict within the organization is immense. And then there's the question of the Promians.
Yes. The resurrectionists within the Inquisition's ranks. Their reaction would be particularly fascinating, wouldn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Think of the jubilation, the sense of vindication they would feel. For centuries, they've held on to the belief that the emperor would one day return. To see their prophecy fulfilled would be a momentous occasion. But even their joy might be tempered by uncertainty.
After all, they've been operating within the Inquisition, a system that, at least initially, was designed to counter their very beliefs. How would they reconcile their long-held desire with the realities of the emperor's return? Would they seek to influence him, guide him toward their vision of the Imperium, or would they simply fade back into the shadows, content to have witnessed the fulfillment of their prophecy?
It's impossible to say for certain. But one thing is clear: the return of the emperor would have profound implications for the Promians and their place within the Inquisition. And the ripple effects wouldn't stop there. Think about the impact on the wider Imperium.
The Adeptus Astartes, the Ecclesiarchy, the countless billions of imperial citizens who have been raised to revere the emperor as a distant godlike figure. How would they react to his sudden reappearance?
It would shatter the very foundation of their beliefs, the systems of faith and governance that have evolved over 10,000 years. The Ecclesiarchy, for example, has built its entire doctrine around the emperor's sacrifices, his eternal vigilance on the golden throne. His return would call into question their very legitimacy, potentially leading to schisms and upheavals within the church.
And the Adeptus Astartes, those genetically engineered super soldiers who have devoted themselves to the Emperor's cause for millennia.
Right.
How would they reconcile their oaths of loyalty with the return of their Primarchus father, a figure they have both revered and mourned for centuries?
It's a question that would test the very core of their being, potentially dividing loyalties within chapters and leading to unforeseen consequences.
It's overwhelming to contemplate the potential ramifications.
Yeah.
But we've spent this deep dive exploring the intricate world of the Inquisition, their origins, their structure, their methods, and the conflicting ideologies that shape their actions. But the possibility of the Emperor's return casts a new light on everything we've discussed. It raises questions about their purpose in a world where the Emperor rules directly, and the potential for both great triumph and utter chaos.
It's a testament to the richness and complexity of the Warhammer 40k universe. This setting constantly challenges us to think critically, to explore different perspectives, and to imagine the profound consequences of events that might seem fantastical,
right,
but hold within them a kernel of truth, a reflection of our own world and the choices we face.
This has been an incredible deep dive filled with fascinating insights and thought-provoking questions. I have to admit, I'm both excited and a little terrified to think about what the future holds for the Inquisition and the Imperium as a whole.
And that perhaps is the essence of Warhammer 40k, a universe where hope and despair, faith and doubt, order and chaos are constantly intertwined, creating a tapestry of possibilities that is both awe-inspiring and terrifying. Who knows what the future holds for the Imperium?
Right.
But one thing is certain: the Inquisition will be there in the shadows, watching, waiting, and shaping events in ways we can only begin to imagine.
Until our next deep dive, listener, keep exploring, keep questioning.
Yes.
And may the Emperor protect you from the horrors that lurk in the darkness.